What's your level of concern right now with Golden State? Not only with the way, once again, they gacked one away at home, but now the loss of Boogie Cousins.
There is zero concern for them as far as their loss, right? They'll wake up. Steve Kerr, look, they were up 31. That's something that they'll handle and address. I think for Boogie Cousins is a really really big deal, right? It takes a certain way that they can play. It takes away such a huge threat for them. I think the crazy thing is everyone was talking about how dominant they're going to be, adding Boogie Cousins, all of these different elements that the Warriors can do. But without him, understand that they lack depth on their bench. Fortunately, they added Andrew Bogut, but now all of a sudden, everyone's minutes start to accumulate and start to get upped early on in the playoffs, which isn't a great thing for them.
By the way, real quickly, Richard, no surprise here that Woj is now confirming it is a season-ending quad tear for Boogie Cousins. So throw that into the equation now, knowing he's not going to be there. I mean, basically, it's the same team they were a year ago without JaVale McGee. How does that change things for you, knowing for sure he's out now?
Well, I don't think it changes anything for me. I think it changes things for the entire NBA. I think the NBA, sees that there's an opportunity here. When you take away an all-star, when you take away a guy that does as many things as DeMarcus Cousins does, then it opens up an opportunity for people to come in and try and upset the Warriors. And yes, it might not affect them in this round against the Clippers, but moving forward, think about it. Let's say hypothetically they were to play against the Philadelphia 76ers and Joel Embiid and a healthy Joel Embiid. You need DeMarcus Cousins in that series, right? Like Andre Iguodala, Draymond Green, Embiid is just too big. And then Bogut, if you only have one legitimate big who's an older guy, even though he's a veteran, that's not a great matchup for the Warriors. So it really puts them in a little bit of a tough spot. Will they be fine? Yes. But instead of having a 98% chance of winning the championship, they have an 88% chance of winning a championship. So it does take things away from them, but I don't think it doesn't change their mission or how they're going to play.
All right, real quickly, I just got to clear that up. I apologize. He says they believe he's lost for the season. It hasn't been official. They're waiting the MRI.
All right, sounds good. As Richard Jefferson joins us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. So, Richard, with that in mind, if it's not this series as great as the Clippers looked and as awesome as Lou Williams was last night, who do you think with this injury news now poses the biggest threat to Golden State because of those matchup issues?
Well, I don't know. I don't think that. I still think that Milwaukee Bucks are going to make it to the NBA Finals, so I don't see anybody on that side. I think Brook Lopez, but again, he spaces the floor more for them than he does post up. So I don't think that that team poses. And again, if you look at the Houston Rockets and Clint Capella, the way he plays, it's not like he's a post-up guy. So I still don't think it changes the Warriors and their path, but what it does is it just makes things a little bit more difficult very early on for them.
But the other thing that's part of this is we're talking to Richard Jefferson. Look, they have had these lapses before this entire season, right? I mean, they have 7 losses at home by more 20 points or more. That's never happened to a team that eventually has gone on to be the NBA champion. So what is it about this team this year that has sort of been disconnected?
Well, I think free agency, I think there were some internal things. And look, you go and look at the last 2 teams that three-peated, the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe and, the Jordan Bulls. There was internal strife on both sides. When you're just together so long, when you're going on these long runs and you're playing in the NBA Finals and you get 4 weeks off, right? Just after a while, it's just like any family. You get annoyed with your family members. And so I think there's a couple other things. There was some intensity issues that they had, and then, adding new players and just going through that grind again with the extra media attention and kind of their personalities inside the locker room. I think they would admit that they didn't handle that attention very, very well. So I still think that the Warriors, nothing can stop them other than the Warriors. But this right here starts to open up the door for them to kind of, people see how can we attack this? How can we do this? But again, I just want to say it's disappointing for DeMarcus Cousins, who's done everything right this year, sacrificed a good amount of money to go and try and play with the Warriors for 1 year and to win a championship. So it's just really, really disappointing for his season to end this way.